On today's Toy Spot, this is a big one. We're going to be having a look at the Marvel Select. Oh, it's so heavy. We're looking at the Marvel Select Juggernaut. As mentioned, very heavy. This package is incredibly heavy. It feels almost as heavy as like a bag of sugar. I can tell you, carrying this into the place, carrying it out of my local comic book store, arm got a little tired. It got a little tired. But boy oh boy, I am ever pleased to pick up the Marvel Select Juggernaut. I paid $24.99 for it, just in case anybody was wondering. Spot, how much did you pay for the Marvel Select Juggernaut? The answer to you would be $24.99. Package-wise, before we actually get to the figure, obviously, package features a picture of Juggernaut down below, the Marvel Select logo, as well as the Juggernaut down the side. Special collector edition action figure with highly detailed base. Of course it does. And of course we've got the main man inside, the very large Juggernaut. Get very, very excited. I'm looking forward to getting this opened up. On the side, we've got a picture of Juggernaut. And on the back, just a better picture of the figure that is included. Other Marvel Select figures that you can pick up are a Deadpool, an unmasked variant of Juggernaut, and a Cyclops. And the read-up says, sculpted by gentle giants, the unstoppable Juggernaut is one of the most powerful men to walk the earth unhindered. Literally, when Cain Marko states that nothing stops the Juggernaut, he's not kidding. Finding a mystical ruby in a lost temple in Korea, U.S. Army soldier Cain Marko read aloud the inscription on the gem. Whosoever touches this gem shall be granted the power of the crimson bands of Cyttorak. Henceforth, you who read these words shall become forevermore a human Juggernaut. Charles Xavier's half-brother became an unstoppable force soon after joining Magneto in the fight against the X-Men and anyone else that dared to stand in their way. Brought to us from Diamond Select Toys. Of course, Marvel Universe, Marvel.com, if you would like to check out more delightful things from the good folks at Mattel. Oh, it's a very large package. So excited, though, about getting this opened up. What we're going to do, obviously, is get this out of package, and we will have ourselves a better look at Marvel Select Juggernaut. Stay tuned, guys. There's more on the way. And let's get the least exciting thing out of the way. Juggernaut comes with, well, they've called it a stand, a display. To me, it's ridiculous. Look at the size of it. Look at the size of it compared to Juggernaut. It doesn't look like, can you imagine trying to picture, can you imagine trying to put your figure in front of that and it looks like he's in that scene? It looks like the Juggernaut's TV. It looks like a LCD screen, maybe something he'd be watching in his living room. If you had a chair, you could kind of just have Juggernaut watching his TV, eating his, pork rinds or whatever Juggernaut's into. I don't know what he's into. He'd be very hard to shop for if he was ever to come by for a visit. I'm sure he would like diet soda, though. I don't know. I'm leaning towards diet Dr. Pepper, but I probably am wrong. But it's very ridiculous, the very small display. It seems to me like a total cop-out. But again, we don't really we're not buying this guy for this, right? So to me, this is I'm not going to do it, but this would be like a throwaway. This would be just something I probably would pack away and, you would never see it ever again. In fact, I'm going to do one better. I'm so disgusted with this that you're not going to see this for the rest of the view. So say goodbye to it, everybody. Say goodbye to the display stand, the very lame display. The display is going over here. It's not going to bother anybody ever again, at least for the rest of this review. Let's, however, look at something that is very cool, and that is this Juggernaut. The Spot had a list of my favorite things. Some of the things near the top of the list certainly would be Gordon Ramsay or Hell's Kitchen. Fish sticks, I like fish sticks. Kittens would be very high on that list, and I think I probably would put like right around that area. I would put this Juggernaut figure. This Juggernaut figure is incredible. It is incredible. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next time. Now let's get into more of the figure here. Like I said, this Juggernaut is incredible. Taking all the aspects of what made the original Juggernaut figures and certainly improved upon them. We'll put the Juggernaut here to the side. We'll bring in some of the other Juggernaut figures, shall we? Probably most people recognize the Marvel Legends Juggernaut, which in its day was certainly a solid enough Juggernaut. His helmet falling all over the place. Probably the least interesting Juggernaut for most people would be the Spider-Man Classics Juggernaut. It is what it is. I mean, it's certainly a, you know, comparing the three, you can obviously see, yes, good, all right, pretty crappy. But the Spider-Man Classics Juggernaut, probably not certainly a favorite. But there you have your Juggernauts. Obviously a huge comparison between the two. Probably, it's unlikely that I'm even going to attempt to try to compare this guy to the Select Juggernaut because there is absolutely no comparison. So we'll move him off. Nobody's interested, obviously, in the Spider-Man Classics. The thing about the Marvel Universe, the Marvel Legends Juggernaut, as good as the figure is, I always found that he was proportioned weird, and it stemmed from the fact that his joints and the articulation for a figure like this back in the day certainly, you know, it has some hits or misses. In order to get some of the articulation in, they had to sacrifice some of the sculpt of the figure. I understand that, and obviously for a figure that's older, I'm not gonna nitpick it too much, but you know, it's certainly interesting to see where it's come from and now where it's gone to. It's certainly a night and day between paint, you know, the overall proportion of the figure, and the fact that they were incorporating the articulation in the Select version of Juggernaut and still pulling off a really incredible figure. But the Juggernaut is nice, the Marvel Legends Juggernaut. Certainly we're not going to, you know, there's your comparison there, but we're not certainly reviewing the Marvel Legends Juggernaut. I've already reviewed him anyways. Alright, so let's have a look at the Marvel Select Juggernaut. Maybe what we'll do first, let's zoom in. Zoom. And bring the camera up. Pardon my fingers. Look at my fingers getting in the way. We'll zoom into what I think is a fantastic head sculpt. Look how awesome that is. Fantastic figure. Unfortunately, the helmet is affixed, much similar to the Marvel Universe Juggernaut, which would also explain the need for an unmasked variant. But the face is fantastic. The face certainly takes the core elements of Juggernaut, attempted with the other figures released, and makes it so. I mean, they've done such a good job on this figure. The paint is incredible. They've taken the standard brown in the majority of the costume, and they've given it this really nice dark paint wash, covering some of the muscle areas, and just because of that, like, a lot of the sculpt really pops on this figure. There's none of the blue veins and stuff like that, which I still had a problem with when it came to the Marvel Legends Juggernaut. But the muscle tone is there. The paint is done really well on the flesh. You know, even right down to like the individual pieces on his arm. You can see all the weathering, the scratches. Definitely, it looks like the Juggernaut's been through walls and probably individuals as well. I mean, it's incredibly large, and the beauty of it really is also the fact, if I just bring the camera down here a bit, is also the fact too that with this particular Marvel Select Juggernaut, he's scaled appropriately that you could very well have him with Marvel Legends figures. I think the scale on him is just right, that even if they were eventually to release a Marvel Select Blob, I think the Marvel Select Blob and a Marvel Select Juggernaut would fit perfectly in with the Marvel Legends figures. But yeah, I mean, there's so many things to say nice. Pardon my fingers again. There's so many things nice to say about this figure. Now his fists are closed, which is unfortunately one of the things you're going to get with a Juggernaut figure 9 times out of 10. But perfect. I mean, you know, for me, I prefer the closed fists as opposed to the fingers that the Marvel Legends Juggernaut had. Very, very cool though. And let me throw this out here as well. The fact also, generally with Marvel Select figures, the articulation isn't going to be as spectacular as, say, for example, the Marvel Legends scale size figures. But I think the Juggernaut really, I mean, they've really done an incredible job on this figure. Because in the way of his articulation, and by the way, I'll just show you guys a full turnaround on the figure. I mean, the detail on him is incredible. Anybody want to take a guess what I'm going to give this figure? Nobody? In the way of his articulation, his head does rotate. It doesn't really tip up and down. It's just basically a standard swivel. The shoulders can swivel out and rotate all the way around. You kind of will get to a point where the shoulders will butt up against the top here. Now his arms can rotate. He can bend at the elbow. And what I thought, no, he doesn't actually rotate in the forearms. Basically just in the bicep and a bend in the elbow. He does have a rotation in the upper torso. His legs can bend out, although you kind of have to be careful, I'm finding, just again due to the fact that this leg will likely want to butt itself up against the waist. But obviously his leg can rotate. You can bend at the knee. You can rotate at the foot, and you can bend the foot up and down. If I had only one problem with the figure, and it's not the figure itself, it's probably only the figure that I've bought. He's got a very loose foot. Just on this one foot. This foot's not too bad, but this one is, as you can see, is quite loose. Fingers crossed that hopefully nothing happens to the actual foot. But oh man, this is such a cool figure. And if I can give Juggernaut here any sort of rating, I have to do it. Juggernaut here is totally getting a 10, right there. Juggernaut's getting a 10, and I'm going to add on to that. Juggernaut is also going to make it to the Spots Hall of Fame. This is a fantastic figure. If you like the Juggernaut, if you like X-Men, if you like action figures, do yourself a favor and definitely go out and pick up the Marvel Select Juggernaut. You will not be disappointed, my friend. And it's definitely, when you factor in that a DC Universe Classics figure costs you about $15, $15.99 or so. The fact to get this guy for $24.99, but you get such a beefier figure, definitely well worth the money. Today's Toy Spot, and I banged the camera, today's Toy Spot we were having a look at a perfect 10 figure. We were looking today at the Marvel Select Juggernaut. Do go get yourself one. If there is only one and some kid's reaching for it, push the kid out of the side and grab the figure. Don't maybe do that, guys. But definitely find yourself a Marvel Select Juggernaut and do pick yourself up one. Today's Toy Spot, we were looking at the Marvel Select Juggernaut. I thank you guys for watching, as you always do. And please comment down below. Tell me what you think of this figure. And I will see you guys next time.